Hey everybody, Daniel Ramsey here, and we are live. And today I'm excited because I've got my good friend Debbie DeGroat from Excellium Coaching and Consulting, and we're going to talk about something that's important because it is the summer months. And well, we were just talking about it. You go to camp with I've got two little girls, so we're at summer camp and we're going to the lake and the pool, and sometimes you get distracted. And so today we're going to talk about how to fire your jets on your production in 45 days and actually get into action. And we're going to, we've got Debbie here. So Debbie, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Yeah, it's a great topic because Daniel, I have the pleasure here at Excellium. We coach some of the best in the nation. And yet, summer is tough, right? Especially you get into July and you've got 4th of July. And I don't know why this year it seemed like 4th of July kind of drug out a little longer. And you want to have some fun. Like we were just talking about your lake trip coming up. So you definitely, want to have some fun as you go through your summer. And yet, if you're not careful, what can happen is now you face a fall where you're in a slump. And so we want them to have some fun. We're going to say that right up front. And that's why this webinar is important, because we want to focus on what are really the best things that you can do at this time of the year to get the most traction in the least amount of time. And Daniel, you and I know each other pretty well, so I appreciate you bringing me here today to your great group. And one of the things you and I have talked about, what helps me as the head coach here, is my background of selling. I started at the age of 18, sold real estate for 16 years, closed over 3,000 transactions. My husband, Don, who just drove up, and I saw he had coffee in his hand, so you guys might see him in a minute. He always forgets I'm on a webinar, may bring me coffee. But he's been in the real estate business over 30 years, a top producer in one of the most competitive markets in the nation here in Orange County. So,
what's funny is I've seen one of your young photos, meaning like you were a baby selling real estate, and I love that.
Yeah, so here's what's so funny, guys. We found this in the drawer the other day. I don't know if you can see that, Daniel. It was an interview with me when I was 24. I was closing 156 units as my own personal production, no team, just an admin, grinding it out. I like to say, I did it the hard way. I want to help them cheat and do it the easy way. But here's what's really funny. If you guys can see here on the bottom, it says car phone, tool or toy. I was one of the first agents in the nation to have a car phone, and they thought it was ridiculous and stupid. Why would a real estate agent need a car phone? Now, it weighed 25 pounds and you carried a suitcase, but it was pretty efficient. So all that to say, from the street perspective, all my coaches are 20 to 40-year veterans. And so we hope that everything we're sharing with you guys really is real time. What will help you in today's market.
What are people going to get today, Debbie? If they stay to the end and watch this entire thing, what value will they walk away with?
Well, in addition to some great strategies, I also want you to have some gifts. I like you to actually get something tangible that will help you carry forward and implement our conversation today. So at the end, and you don't need to do a thing to trigger these first two gifts, those will come to you automatically. We're going to send you a copy of my book, Secrets of Super Salespeople. It's an audio book. And I think we sent you the PDF and the audio, maybe both. If you don't get the PDF and you want it, just let me know. And we're also going to send you what I call the scripts light, which we have so many scripts, but these are our scripts for reaching out to the people you know and having very gracious ways to have real estate conversations that will hopefully spark a good opportunity. So there'll be the scripts along with the audio and the audio book. And the audio book has my old schedule in it, Daniel, and my strategies, and also some interviews with terrific top agents. Now, at the very end, as you guys know, this is going to be content rich. I'm not going to talk about our coaching and the pricing, and Daniel's not going to talk about the pricing of a virtual assistant. We want this to be fun and helpful, but I know his team is on standby to help you. and my team will be on standby if you like to book a complimentary strategy session just to explore coaching. So we're going to make great gifts easy for you to access and terrific help if you desire and you need it. So here are the 3 secrets, Daniel, that you and I will talk about with them today. How to get instant business from the people they know. A very important one, secret number 2, how to spark the leads into action faster. And then secret number 3, how to tap into some of the more hidden opportunities to create business that they might not be focused on or might not be thinking about. So Daniel, I usually have this on my slides, but I don't know. I can't see the chat box. I don't know if you can, and if you want to do questions as we go or at the end.
Actually, I love questions. So if you're listening right now, I know we had a couple hundred folks register for this. Debbie, you're popular. You're one of the popular gals, you know. But if you're on this live, I'd love you to go in the chat right now and just say where you're from and how your summer's been. Like amazing production, okay production, or I'm glad I'm here kind of production, you know? And so just tell us where you're from. We've got Lenny from Hermosa Beach.
Oh, that's not far from me.
Yeah, and he's having an awesome year. So thanks, Lenny, for jumping in there. But if you're here, Debbie, I will ask her questions, and if you have something for her, because we're focused on adding value to you guys here in the audience. This isn't a sales pitch. We want to actually pull all of the things that Debbie knows out for you to give you guys love and help you kind of kick butt this year. So we've got Veronica from Mission Viejo. We got Joseph Smith from Stockton. That's by me. Been listening for 15 years, listening to Debbie for 15 years. This guy loves you. We got San Antonio. Exceptional start to the summer. I love that. Exceptional start. That's a good one. So we got a lot of people on. Please, if you have a question, just ask. And as you know, MyOutDesk, we do virtual assistants and we help people find talent. So I might jump in at certain spots and add value where we can. So Debbie, let's keep rocking and rolling.
All right, you got it. So here's what we want to talk about: how to fire the jets on our production. Just a quick funny story, Daniel. When my daughters got their real estate license, I have 26-year-old twins, and they got their license at the same time. And they were living at home for a while because they were poor. And of course, they weren't 26 then. It was a few years ago. And I would come home at night from work and they're both sitting on the couch. Mom, I didn't sell a house today. And like, oh my gosh. So this is kind of how this whole program began, because I sat down with them at the kitchen table and I said, okay, if you want to turn this around in the next few weeks, let's take a look at some of the things that you could do and should do. And that's how the 45-day cash machine was born. So here's one of the things I asked them, and I would like to ask you all this question today. What is one thing you're avoiding and you knew that if you did it, you would have a great result? Now, I'll give you an easy example. For some of you, that might be having a tough love conversation with a seller to get a price reduction. And if you get that price reduction, you know that listing would sell and it would sell quickly. So there you'd have your instant and easy cash infusion. Have a 30-minute conversation, go make 10, 20, 30 grand, depending on your market. It could be that you're avoiding calling your past clients and your sphere of influence, even though they love you and you've done a great job. So you all have that one thing that if you did it, you could create some instant revenue. So for a moment, just put aside your discomfort, your feelings of avoidance, and just write it down. What is it?
I just put it in the chat, and Debbie, what's funny is yesterday I'm doing a consultation kind of a medium-sized agent. You know, he's going to do about 40 to 50 deals, and he's talking to one of our consultants, and I'm in on the call, and we're going through it, and he's like, I just haven't been prospecting, and I'm getting all these leads. And I'm like, are you paying for those leads? He's like, yes, I'm paying for them. And when's the last time you like just spent 3 hours calling them? And he's like, it's been months.
Yes.
And so Veronica says phones. She's avoiding the phones, Debbie. I think that's normal, you know.
Right.
But what are you avoiding? Throw that in the chat. We want to make sure this is interactive.
And then really ask yourself why. What really is the reason that I'm avoiding it? You know, we all have those things that make us uncomfortable. And in fact, on our microwave, we have a little magnet. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt quote, do one thing every day that scares you. And what's interesting, Daniel, I was actually reading Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, and Gary mentioned in there, referenced the fact that it can take 3 months to 4 months to develop a new pattern. And the good news is, guys, our brain loves patterns. So if Veronica got on the phone every morning at 9 o'clock and even just made 5 calls, but she does it every morning at 9 o'clock, eventually, Veronica, it's not so tough. It's just natural. Your brain will adapt. So that's the good news. And one of the things, too, that he said in the book is if you study psychology, there really is no such thing as someone is more disciplined than another. It's just that they've developed habits of discipline, because none of us are really born disciplined. It's something that we learn. So what are you avoiding? And here's...
Hold on. I think there's a really important point there. One of the things that the avoiding, and who knows, this might be a really long webinar, Debbie. You and I are, I love that about us. But that is definitely what are you avoiding? If you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm not sure if this applies to me, or I'm not certain how that works or what to do, or one of the things that we're doing right now is we're offering a text thing. So if you text MOD, and I'm going to throw it in here, MOD to 31996, I can't tell you, I think I've probably, like you, I've done 20,000 conversations with real estate companies and teams and agents. And Debbie, that question is so powerful because people don't even know what they need to start doing, and they don't know how to ask themselves that question. And it's such a powerful question that, you know, what are you avoiding? And if you didn't avoid that, what would it mean for your business? And I guess I would add a little other thing, which is, could you double your business if you stopped avoiding that stuff?
Well, and Daniel, just to encourage everyone, you know, we lost count at over 80,000 coaching calls that I've done in the last 20 years. And that is when people join us for coaching. What I tell all of our coaches is, let's go. And this is what I would encourage you all. What do you do well? Where does most of your business come from? And where's a gap, or what are you avoiding that then does? When we help our clients in coaching, it's very common that they see 50% improvement in their business in a year, and they don't work more or spend more. So it is a good question.
I think that's a good point. I was talking to another client, and he's 8 months old. He's got 150 kind of deals in his pipeline, referrals over to his lender, and he has 8 closed transactions having a virtual prospector with us. And Debbie, you know what I love about it? He has a coach. And that is such a differentiator in the market for people. Sometimes you just need a partner who, you know, wades through all that crap in your head, that all those assumptions, and they ask the hard questions like, are you making the calls? Are you doing what's important? What does your day look like? Share your calendar with me real quick, and let's review what you've done for the last 2 weeks. You know, that it's such a powerful question and thing to have a coach who asks great questions.
Well, and I think too, if you look at what's on the screen now, I do really believe this, that 90% of your sales success is your mindset. And one of my clients the other day said, I tell myself, you know, your mind is a scary place, don't go there alone, because you can get very in your head, and this is a very isolating business. So that's one of the things that we want to do a little work on today, is really, what is your belief about the business? And truly, if you didn't have a great first half, guess what? It is over. And that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You can change the game on any given day. If you did have a great first half, congratulations. Remember, though, you're only as good as your last month in this business or your next month. So we've got to keep our mind focused on forward motion growth and really positive things. And I think it's critical when you're always, but really when you're digging in and trying to fire the jets on production, stay away from negative influences. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have this crab here on the screen? You guys can go on YouTube and you can check out this video. There's actually a video, because there's a saying about mindset that, you know, if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they could all easily get out. They actually won't, though, because as soon as one crab nears the top, the other crabs reach up and pull that crab back into the bucket. So who are the crabs around you? So if you go into your office and you're all fired up after this webinar and, hey, I've got all these great action items and projects I'm going to do, there's going to be a crab near you that says, well, that won't work. I've tried that before. Nothing good happens in July. And, you know, someone said to me the other day, what if I'm married to a crab? Well, I'm not telling you to divorce them, but anyone in your life that's part of your life, family, friends, and they tend to be negative, just be careful what you share, right? So share your goals, share your dreams with the people who support you. And if you can control it, don't put anything extra in your life that's negative. You know, Daniel, I don't watch the news because I can't do anything about it. And it's so negative. I don't want to dump that garbage in my head.
Yeah, I don't do it either. I don't watch the news. I read the Wall Street Journal and the Business Journal. And to be honest, even that sometimes their whole world is shock and awe and what's going wrong with the world. It's like when you're driving your car and you see a really bad accident, people can't stop or people can't look away because they want to see what's happening. That's our news. And people who are have a crab mindset, man, it is just tough to get away from those guys.
And they need to rest, right? They need to get enough sleep, which can be hard. You know, you were just talking before they got on about barbecues and a party by the lake. And yet we have to think of ourselves almost like an athlete. You know, I read the book by Tom Brady where he talked about his exercise and all that stuff that he does. And of course, it's super critical for him to be in top shape. But he and Giselle are in bed sleeping every night by 9 p.m. and they sleep until 6 a.m. They have blackout shades. They have pajamas with copper threads. They keep it 66 degrees. Like it's a science for them to get enough rest because they have to. But so do we, because we've got grinding things to do every day. We've got people who are stressed out who we're dealing with. And when you don't feel well, you can't be that gladiator of the day that you need to be. So good mindset, positive stuff going in your head, and get enough rest. Because if you don't, you won't do the rest, right? You won't do the rest of it.
I love this next slide. This is my favorite slide ever.
What time do you get up, Daniel? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I love this question because I am like the opposite of most people, meaning I don't most really successful people you hear, oh, I wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and I've got this routine. I wake up after 8 hours, and my wife makes fun of me because she says, oh, you're disciplined to get 8 hours. I'm like, yes, exactly. Every night I get 8 hours and I wake up, but I have a whole morning thing that I do, which I can't wait to hear about yours. This is actually good.
Well, I get up at 4:15, but I'm not telling everyone here they should, okay?
I knew it.
But keep in mind, we have a bunch of East Coast clients. So I have to be at my desk by 5:30 or 6 a.m. to serve them. But that doesn't mean that has to be everyone's routine. It's just have a routine. You know, what do you do that my first thing is straight for coffee. You can all lecture me. I don't care. I'm going to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And then, what do you do? Do you exercise? Do you read a book? I discipline myself to always have a book on the coffee table and read at least 15 minutes in the morning instead of turning on the news. So find something that gets your day rolling, right?
I'm just gonna tell everybody mine because I'm crazy. So I drink water with lemon, the very first thing. And I'm like you, I love coffee, so I'm doing a ton of coffee in the morning. I just can't help myself. I read a book, I journal, I sit in a hot tub or sauna, one of those two, to get my body kind of limber. Some sort of physical activity. Sometimes it's a run, sometimes it's just some, exercises. And then I look at my calendar and I ask myself, who do I need to be today to rock out like everything that I have to do? So like that's my routine, and I can tell you right now, it feeds me. It means that I show up ready to be at the best version of myself every single day. And I think as real estate agents, we let our phone we let our phone dictate our schedule, or our clients dictate our schedule, or our family and kids and the life circumstances. So it's really important to just control the beginning of the day so you can start with that great energy and that great intention.
Well, and I think for most, if they have a perfect morning and they do all the important things by 12, they really will, afternoon will take care of itself, but they've got to lock and load in the morning and really believe in yourself. You can buy little trinkets and gimmicks, but truly you are your best investment. And that might mean, investing in coaching to get help. That might mean investing in a virtual assistant so that you can maximize your billable time. Daniel, in coaching agents that come to us, and truly some of them are making, $1 million a year, 2-3 million a year in profit. But when I look at them, they don't really appreciate the value of their time the way, let's say, a lawyer would, right? Like a lawyer very much runs on the billable clock. They know the value of their time. One attorney that I consult with is $750 an hour. He knows the value of his time. He's not going to answer his own phone, right? He's not going to, do his own basic marketing work. And that's why they have to think about, when do I hire help? And I think, your group makes it very easy to do that in an affordable way, because I read that if Bill Gates was walking along and dropped $1,000, he should not stop and pick it up, because the time it would take to pick it up, he would have already lost money. So I want them to really realize they are their best asset. And then, guys, we got to have a clear goal. Like Daniel talked about, looking at the day, looking at your week, your month. What's nice to do, I feel, and is very helpful, is when you set these short-term goals. That's why the 45 days is so terrific, because think about it. You could do just about anything for 6 weeks if you needed to. So I want you to write down, what's the date when you will fire the jets on your production? Because maybe you say, hey, I'm leaving today and I've got a short little vacation. I'll be back on Monday. I'll start on Monday. That's fine. But pick a date when that 6 weeks will begin. And then I want you to write down for yourself, what do you want to create in that 6 weeks? How many new pendings? How many listings taken? How many deals close? I love that Napoleon Hill quote, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. But that means we have to know what it is we want, right?
I love that. I love that. I love that. One of the things that we do when you come in and do a consultation, and Debbie, you do this exact same thing, is you start with the intention and the end goal, and then you work backwards. And so, once again, we're going to just drop, if you text MOD to 31996, we're going to help you do that. And Debbie and everybody who registers is going to get Debbie's free gifts and also an opportunity to meet with her one-on-one. Specifically, if you don't have a coach that helps you set these goals that are realistic and then go backwards from those goals and figure out what your day needs to look like and who do you need on your team, that's what we'll help you, support you with the leverage piece. But you need somebody to help you with the goals and the mindset. And it's really important that you get in here right now, book a consultation. And, if you have never done these things, or you don't have a coach and you don't have leverage in your life, you just simply need to text that right now. Debbie, I'm passionate about that because every day we have people and they're floundering and they're not having the success in their world that they actually deserve and that their family needs. And so I just think this topic for me is my favorite topic, setting goals.
Set a goal. And, do share with those in your life who are supportive of you, because the more accountability you have, the better off you'll be, and really get attached to how many commission dollars will this create for me? And then how will I feel and when I have this terrific pipeline of listings and sales and I'm rolling into the fall with power and I'm finishing the year in strong? Because things run in about a 90-day cycle. So the things that you do in the next 6 weeks are really going to impact you. So let's see, that would put us in mid-September, October, November, December. So that would mean they'd have a great Christmas, which it would be my wish for everyone. So
you know what? I want to stop there. You know what I love about November and December, Debbie? I'm asking you, what do you think I love about those months?
Turkey? I don't know.
No. Everyone else takes time off. They think and in our industry, my favorite question, are you a 10-month agent or are you are you a year long? Like Novembers and Decembers for my real estate brokerage were always off the chart because I did this exercise. Well, and there's less competition. My buyers could find all the inventory they want. My sellers were getting higher prices because there just wasn't an inventory in those nice neighborhoods. So we were getting everything we wanted because nobody else wanted to work. And my staff would be like, why are we working so hard? It's Christmas time. I said, I know, but we need to get that commission. And you do too. You do too.
Well, and no other business stops on the last 2 months of the year, and then you have such a hard start in the quarter. But we always tell our clients the holidays do not begin on Halloween. That's what we tell them. So the top 10 leads, Daniel, you hit on something super important. And I'm going to say something that might surprise you guys, but if you had to make a choice in any given day, I only have limited time. Do I call my leads or do I do fresh prospecting? Call your leads. Okay. And the reason for that is 70% of your business will normally come from the leads that are already in your pipeline. And yet, as I meet with agents, what they tell me is the number one thing they neglect is their leads, which is kind of crazy. So even if you could book an entire day and say, I'm just going to, lock myself in and I'm going to do a power prospecting day and I'm going to call all of these leads. I'm going to identify my top 10. And if you'll notice, I have conversion date because, see, I think that your mind is so powerful. If you determine I am going to sell Daniel a house, he's my number one lead, and I'm going to get him under contract in 2 days. And then I've got Fred and Mary, I'm going to get them under contract in 5 days. Like you set those mental targets, which keep you focused and on top of those leads. Now, here's a big deal right now. So buyers are going, well, what's happening in the market? And maybe I should wait and maybe prices. And for any buyer that is sitting on the sidelines right now, sit them down, have a heart-to-heart with them, and get them on track. Guys.
How do you do that? Because Debbie, I know one of my challenges in the real estate world And you know, I was in the top 1%, but it was having those heart to hearts because I was nervous that I would oversell somebody that I cared about and really wanted to have success, and they weren't really ready. So walk me through a heart to heart with somebody who's sitting on a sideline as a seller or a buyer. And this is a great exercise. And if you're listening, this is probably one of the most valuable pieces of the entire conversation.
Well, so you said something, and before we go too far, if there is a condition, if there is a true reason they cannot do it, or it is absolutely not right for them, they don't know if they're going to have a job at the end of the year, you know, whatever. They don't know if they're going to get the job transfer. So let's take those off the table. So what we're really talking about are the buyers and sellers who could do it, who want to do it, but they're just stuck for whatever reason. So I think the first thing is put your real estate consultant hat on. So get rid of the commission in your mind and just think, okay, if I truly want to help this person, if they were my best friend, if they were my brother, my sister, what conversation do I need to have with them? They may accept it or not, they may move forward or not, but it's my duty to share what I know and try to help them. So I think if you come at it from that standpoint, well, I might wait and, you know, see what happens with the prices. Well, Mr. Buyer, I understand why you have that thought. If I were you, I might feel the same way. And yet, here's some things to consider. Interest rates are insanely low. And we've been a little spoiled. It's been that way for a while. There is no guarantee that that will continue. So even if prices were to shift down a little and rates were to go up, you've washed out that time of waiting. And maybe even it's worse, you know, for you. Then you won't have your tax deduction, and you're going to be living in a rental home. You're paying $2,500 a month. You're throwing that money away.
Right.
So why don't we at least do this? Let's sit down with a great lender. Let's go through the numbers. Let's look at the tax advantages. And I think at the end of all of that, you're going to know. Let's just take that first step. See, I have an affirmation I used to say all the time to myself. My job as a great salesperson is to help them overcome the fear and hesitation they might be feeling to achieve the goal they have set. So it's not our job to push them into things they don't want. We got to counsel them, though, to get off the bench and into action when it's something they truly want to do.
I love that. In fact, we have, I'm going to do a little shout out. We've got Dan Stewart for Happy Grasshopper.
Hey,
What's
Dan.
up, Dan the man? He's watching right
Love
now.
Dan.
But
Happy Grasshopper. Hey, Dan, tell the team I said hello.
yeah, they're great. And we have a client, I'm going to call him a client friend. I did a presentation with him yesterday. We just recorded, and he's 8 months, and talked about him earlier. But what's crazy is his virtual assistant in 8 months has made over 150 introductions to leads to their lender in 8 months. So what he's doing right now is he's building this insane pipeline, and exactly what you're talking about. The virtual assistant, her name's Christine. Christine made referrals over to their buyer's agent or over to the lender, and then the lender is getting them through the process. And then once they're through the process, Seth is going to meet with them and actually collect their goals, understand their time frame, and all of that used to be his job. Meaning,
Right.
He used to have to call those, 500-600 leads to find the 150 that were actually interested in meeting with a lender, and now that's 100% off his plate. And yesterday in the conversation, it just kind of slapped me a little bit because it was so powerful. He's like, "Look, we're now doing a flip. I just had my first $6 million listing.
Wow.
And I got to buy," and this guy's funny. He's like, "I had to buy a new suit. I had to get he had to go and do a whole new thing."
Up, right?
Yeah, because he's going on a $6 million listing. And I said, "Hey, would that opportunity have been there 9 months ago when you didn't have a virtual assistant?" And he absolutely said no, because he was busy, head down, on the phones, grinding, and now he has a partner, and that's what he called her, a partner to grind with him, and they're both just going after it. So if you don't have that in your life, definitely give us a call. Definitely schedule a consultation. Debbie and I will tag team you. We will figure out what your goals are, and we will get you the help you need to grow your business.
Well, and you have awesome people. We've worked with your people, and I've told Taylor they're so smart and talented. If they were local, I would hire them away from you. They're so good. All right. So then when we're talking to the leads, guys, spark them into action. So look for a legitimate reason to create a sense of urgency. So I'll give you an example. And actually, I'm going to share something that's not in today's webinar. It's kind of my secret little favorite transition to the close on a listing. When you've done all your great work, don't say to the seller, are you going to hire me? I hope you hire me. Are you ready? Do you want to get it on the market? They don't want to get on the market. They dread that. So my favorite line is, by when would you like your home sold to the right buyer at the right price? Because you see, that's what they all want, right? So let's say that Daniel tells me, I'm in no hurry, just want to make sure it happens by the end of the year. And you might be thinking, well, gee, how do I spark him into action? Well, Daniel, actually, that's perfect. Because when we sign the listing today, that's going to give us plenty of time to work together to do a great preparation and pre-launch plan. Then we'll have the time that we need to find that right buyer, make sure we have the right deal for you, and negotiate a move date that's convenient so you don't feel rushed or pressured or stressed. So let's go ahead and take the next step now. So spark them into action, guys. Leads are not like fine wine. They do not age well. And everybody's working your leads too. So leads are fine, but there's nothing like getting them to sign on the dotted line.
And what's crazy is if you do not close them, if you do not close that listing right then and there when they're interviewing you, while they have you on the line, while you've built rapport with them, you've built trust. If you don't close them, they will get closed by a better salesperson.
Right.
Because guess what? I'm right behind you, and I want the listing. Exactly. That's just how it is.
There's someone somewhere is practicing, and when they meet you, they'll beat you. And I love the Zig Ziglar line. Timid salespeople have skinny kids. Now, if you don't have children, you could say a skinny checkbook. Guys, you got to own the power of the knowledge you possess. And even though you do get paid well when you go out and do a great job, always remember you are doing things that contribute to people's lives. They make a difference. It's the American dream to own a home, but you got to go talk to them. So set aside one evening a week. This is a great goal, and a Saturday morning per month to scrub those old leads. Or if you don't want to do that, then you hire someone from Daniel's team to help you do it alongside you or do it for you. Someone has to scrub those leads. It's like, this is like the gold, right? That's not getting, or what is it? Acres of diamonds, that story, there's all these diamonds everywhere and you're just not picking them up.
You know what's crazy is I just on my Facebook page, I took a picture of the timid salespeople have skinny kids by Zig Ziglar. Here's what's crazy. Dee Dee, I hope you're listening right now. Zig Ziglar's granddaughter is a client at MyOutDesk.
Oh,
and
goodness.
I just put this on my Facebook
well, he is the man. I mean, that guy, I have his books in my shelf. I use his quotes. He is unbelievable. Yeah, we're so sad to have him no longer with us, but I feel like he is with us. His legacy lives on. So
and his granddaughter actually hired us for exactly what you're telling us to them that they need is a lead scrubber.
Yes.
She's a real estate broker and a great one. She's like, listen to this, Debbie. So my sales guy, he's with her and he's doing a consultation and they're talking through and he's asking her questions and she goes, oh, there's a trial close. Oh, good transition quote. Oh, good. And she's like critiquing
all the moves, right?
Yeah.
Well,
She's critiquing his great positioning slide. I really like that. And
love
and
it.
at the end,
Great salespeople love to be sold. Am I right?
oh man, and we love to see mastery. That's
Yeah.
the other thing is I will listen when a cold caller calls my phone. I say hello. I'm that one weird guy that will actually listen to the pitch. And my favorite one gal called me, and I love to use this for our virtual professionals. One guy called me. Actually, it was a lady. And I said, no, thank you. And she goes, Daniel, why are you thanking me? You haven't even given me the opportunity to do anything for you or change your future, which, by the way, if you give me 2 more seconds, I can do. And I was like, wow,
Wow.
I've never heard a better one. Hey, we've got Veronica. Thank you for your question, Veronica. I think your question is a great one considering the time frame. Any advice on partnering with home builders for listings?
Yeah, and Daniel, that might need to be like a whole separate webinar because I know we're behind a little bit here.
Yeah.
Veronica, I would say that number one is, go out and if there's developments that are there already and salespeople in place, I used to have an account where they would refer their people to me who wanted to buy those new homes and needed to list. And I got a great deal going now. I had to give up, some significant referral fee, but it was a nice pipeline. I do understand a lot of builders have their own deals going on. But what I do see some of our agents doing is they're finding out who are the builders building homes, and they're going out and hunting properties for them. So they're hunting the land with the agreement that when these are built, I'll be your agent. And there are home builder associations, just like we have association of realtors. So I would just do a little research on that. And I actually do have coaches that have expertise in this area, even far greater than mine. So Veronica, if you have questions and coaching interests you, I would always look to match you with a coach that has those layers of expertise in what you're looking to do. Okay.
Well, let's just do the next one on that.
Right. So once you take a listing, guys, work it hard to find at least one additional deal. Now, how would you do that? Well, if you're in a market where it makes sense and would attract a lot of traffic, have an open house at least that first weekend. Even if you don't love open house, you might double end it. Invite the neighbors to the open house. Look at your list of past clients in Sphere. Who would like to see that house or might be a buyer or know a buyer? So don't just throw it out there and let somebody else sell it. Also work it to see what are the other opportunities you could pull. So sell the seller something else, friends and family of the seller that they might refer you to because they love you so much, prospect in the neighborhood, call your leads. And if you can, and I know some offices have rules against double ending properties. Most do not, but do whatever you can do to get another commission out of that listing. Then Daniel, and again, I'm watching the clock here, so really quickly, guys, when you dig deeply into anything, as I mentioned earlier, that is a current key source of your business, you can get more business. So if most of your business is coming from people you know, then call more people you know. If you get business from open house, how can you increase your traction and conversion from open house? So you don't always have to add new, bright, and shiny things. Usually the extra money you need in the next 6 weeks, it's probably not in new projects, because new projects would take longer than 6 weeks. It's going to be in your pipeline. It's going to be in the people you know and the opportunities where you're already creating business. And please work that database, right? They are your raving fans. Call, email, text, repeat. I often joke, it's a fine line in lead follow-up between being a diligent follow-up person and a stalker. Walk the line, right?
I love that. one of the things that Dan does at Happy Grasshopper is he teaches his people to add value in the phone calls and the emails and the text messages, and really pull that data from the client into your database, so you know what's going on in their world, you know their birthdays, you know where they work, their families, you know everything that's going on, especially the ones who are major referral sources, you know, your top 100 clients. He's like, look, you got to give them a different kind of love. And I think that's really important to understand, because most, and the other thing is, most realtors are trying to buy their business, meaning buy leads or pay somebody to do this or that. And that's ridiculous. You should spend money where you're getting your business from. And that simple question of, like, if you pull the last 18 months of your business and you know exactly where you've gotten all your listings, what the sources are, and then you think, well, let's look at my P&Ls, let's look at my budget, where am I sending money? That disconnect is something that I see almost across the board, regardless of if you're a multi-million-dollar real estate producer or you're doing your first 25 deals and you're trying to grow a team and business. So align your goals with your actual line of business and where you're getting your referrals and where you're getting your listings, and then spend money in the right spots.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, but I had the pleasure of coaching the team at Happy Grasshopper, Dan and Celeste, and they're awesome people there. So I know their product very well. And I think the thing that I love about it most is that it makes it easy in a very just, hands-free method for those people to get those email drips. And they're very friendly, they're gracious, they're fun. So it just keeps you top of mind and keeps that rapport and that connection. And of course, I want them to call their past clients and do all of that. But if nothing else, get Dan and his team sending those emails out for you so that you stay connected. Now, we talked a little bit about lead follow-up and pursuing, business, but also we should spend a minute or two on conversion skills. Often people will come to us, it's very common, and I'll ask them, what is your listing taken ratio? And Daniel, they'll tell me, well, I do quite well. I take about half of what I go out on, or I take 75 to 80% of what I go out on. Mm-hmm. But then when I break the numbers down, I spoke with someone yesterday that hired us to coach him, top agent, and he said, I take about 80% of what I go out on. And we did the math on the listings that he should have had that he did not get. And it amounted to about $140,000, because he's here in Newport Beach, California. And it wasn't multi-million-dollar price point, but it's $1 million price range. Yep. So if you can shift in your conversion 10%, 20%, our goal when people come to us is to get their listing taken ratio over 90%. In fact, I tell them, shoot for 98.2, because you can always break your own record. Why not go for the sky's the limit? But the reason I don't say 100% is because some of those people are just crazy and you don't want them. But you would probably want 98.2%. So if you're going to convert faster, you got to pre-qualify. You're going to focus on those motivated leads. And I would say, looking at who in your world right now is draining you. High maintenance, low profit. Every time you pick up your phone, you see them on it, you just want to throw up. Those might be the people you want to get rid of. Okay. Yep. And I polish up my market expertise too. I used to have a conversation every Monday morning with my lender. I would say, what new programs do I need to know about to talk about this week? What things are happening in the market that I should be sharing? I previewed property every day. I would look at 5 to 10 properties a day, because I found that then I was super sharp on my listing appointments, and I might meet a buyer at open house. Used to happen all the time. And I would say, wow, I know exactly the kind of house you're looking for. I saw it on Wednesday. Meet me back here at 5 o'clock. Boom, I'd sell it to them. So got to know the product, you got to know the interest rate market, and you got to be able to talk about it. And I don't have it right here on my desk. I think it's First Republic, and I'm not sure if that's in all markets. But in talking with a lender yesterday, they were telling me that there are certain markets, for sure in California, I'm not sure if it extends beyond that, but where this bank, if it's a minority area, they're making loans at 3.1%. I mean, my gosh, that's practically free money, but you need to know that kind of stuff.
We've got only 5 minutes left with you, Debbie. So let's kill the slides. Let's start. We're going to wrap up the conversation. We still have a lot of people here. If you haven't already asked a question or interacted with Debbie, like that is like it's gold. So we're gonna go ahead and bring you off the slides and then open us up to questions. And I'm just gonna, Debbie, like if somebody wanted to, go deeper with your organization, and what's cool is we've got a bunch of people that have already texted to do a consultation. But what is the first step?
So guys, so first of all, I want to share a couple thoughts. Number one, we are probably one of the few coaching companies that do not ask you to sign a contract to work with us. We don't need to. Our results are strong. Our retention is incredibly high. Our clients stay for years, but they stay because results. So if you reach out to us, if you see out here on my floor behind me, I don't have a bunch of boiler room people grinding the phones, hard closing. Actually, what will happen if you write down www.businessstrategycall.com, or you can text Daniel. So www.businessstrategycall.com or text Daniel. My daughter Taylor, who is president of my company, will actually reach out to them and we'll schedule a 15-minute conversation so she can see what do they want to focus on. And then once she gathers that information, she'll come to me and then we'll make that conversation happen. So if they just want to ask a question or a resource, they can let us know that when Taylor talks to them. If they seriously want to consider coaching, find out how does that work, what does it cost. We have group and private. Taylor will get them set to talk to me. So very easy, no crazy, scary guys calling you, just me and my daughter Taylor, and we'll make sure you're well taken care of.
I love that. We share that same philosophy. We don't have a contract at MyOutDesk. And it's specifically because, like you, I sold real estate, and contracts, it's a way to lock people in and to have a crappy product. And what I love about your coaching, what I love about our virtual professionals is that the value stands alone. Like right. There is value. Every single, we've had over 5,000 clients, been in business 12 years, and every single 2 weeks, my clients vote with their checkbook or their wallet or, their credit card. And if you are on this call and any of this spoke to you, I would encourage you to move forward. We've got the notes right here. Debbie, you are awesome, masterful in what you do. We really appreciate your time. Let's leave them with the one thing they need to remember from today, before we call it quits.
Okay, I didn't get to it in the slide, but write this down, guys. 5, 5, 5, and 5. So 5 quality conversations with a decision-making adult about real estate every single day. Would I love it if you did more? Of course I would. But you've got to hit your minimum standard of 5, and they need to be 5 good conversations, eye to eye or over the phone. Next, 5 emails. And I'm not talking in this case about an e-blast, but a specific email where you're hunting a new opportunity, 5 text to hunt a new opportunity, and 5 handwritten notes to connect with someone. Because Daniel, if they did that, in fact, let's just do it. Let's say in 6 weeks, if they worked 6 days a week, that's 36. And if they did those 20 connections each day, at the end of 6 weeks, they'd have 720 connections. I'm pretty sure for most of these great agents that are with us, if they truly just did that one piece, which takes an hour to an hour and a half a day, they would probably blow the doors off of the next 6 weeks.
I love it. I love it. The 5 5 5 5. So that's 4 5s, guys. In case you need help, I needed help. 4 5s. Debbie, thank you so much for your time.
Guys,
Really
thank you for joining
appreciate.
us.
Yeah, you just add value and give people. We just had David come through with a text, so you'll get a chance to meet with David. Guys, don't forget, if you're in your business and you're like me, I'm an entrepreneur. My hair was on fire. I needed help in my business. I definitely needed a coach. I didn't have one. Just give us a text. MOD 31996. Appreciate your time, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye, Dan.
Bye-bye.